All right, today we're going to talk about verbs like gustar. And we've had verbs like gustar in Spanish one, or the actual verb gustar in Spanish one. So let's review. Remember, gustar is to talk about things that we like, and we did it this way in Spanish one. When we talked about things we like to do, me gusta, te gusta, le gusta, nos gusta, les gusta. Does anything familiar pop out to you? The me, te, le, nos, les. Not just because they're in red, but it's because it's those indirect object pronouns that we've had. Okay, there they are, all in red. Okay, so before you just learned it as I like is me gusta, but we're gonna kind of talk about why we have to do it that way. Gustar is different because the verb gustar agrees with the subject or the thing being liked, and that thing follows the verb. So if this is hard for you to read, it says the verb gustar agrees with the subject, just like all verbs agree with subjects. So whatever is being liked, that's the subject, and that's what the verb is agreeing with. It follows the verb. So the subject is different because it follows the verb gustar. And the indirect object, the person who's receiving the like, goes before the verb. So when you say me gusta correr, we think in English, I like to run, but really running, the action of running is the subject. Running is pleasing to me. I'm receiving that like of the pleasure of running. Does that make sense? Running pleases me. That's the literal translation of me gusta correr. Here's another example. Me gusta el pescado, pero no me gustan las salchichas. Okay, I like fish, but I don't like hot dogs. So, me gusta el pescado, that first phrase, what is the subject? It's pescado, okay? The fish is pleasing to me, okay? I'm receiving that from the fish. It's delightful to me. Okay, but no me gustan las salchichas. So pescado is singular, so we had gusta. But if you look at this, salchichas is the other subject of that clause. So gustan has to be plural because, just like our o, as, a, almost on conjugation, gustan is plural. It's that they, ellos form because salchichas is plural. The hot dogs are pleasing to me. Is that really confusing, or are you all right with that? Okay. Percy nods yes, no, okay? Okay, thank you. All right, this is, I just explained this in English. You think I like fish, but fish is pleasing to me. And then we're talking about the hot dogs. I don't like hot dogs, but we're really saying hot dogs are not pleasing to me. Down here at the bottom it says, gustars agree with fish and hot dogs, not me. Fish is singular, so gusta is singular. Hot dogs are plural, so it's gustan. And it's our air verb means. Are we okay with this? See? All right, moving on. Okay, some other examples. ¿Te gusta la música rock? Okay. ¿Te gusta la música rock? Okay, what's the subject of this sentence? Rock music. Okay, you like rock music. ¿Te gusta la música rock? Rock music is the subject, so you are receiving that like, the pleasure. I hate that using that word, but that's how it goes. We think you like rock music. It's actually saying rock music is pleasing to you. All right, rock music is singular. Gusta is singular. Okay, again, I'm trying to really pound this in because some people get lost and they never come back on this. Another example, nos gustan las clases de ciencias. We like science classes. What's the subject of the sentence? Science classes. Science classes are pleasing to us. Okay, we're the indirect object. We're receiving that. So gustan is plural because classes are plural, right? Okay. So we like science classes. Science classes are pleasing to us. And My trick is read it backwards. Whenever you write these types of sentences, read it backwards. Science classes are pleasing to us. Okay? Fine and dandy, can I move on? Okay, so that's the verb gustar. In this chapter, we have a whole bunch of other verbs that are similar to gustar and are treated the same way. For example, well, here they are. You don't have to write them down because they're in your vocab, but they're there if you want to. Encantar, which is to delight. Faltar, to lack. Fascinar, to fascinate or to love. Importar. You can also use, I'm going to back up to encantar. You can use this one as to delight or to love. It's very commonly used as to love. Have you seen on the side of a McDonald's cup when it had the I'm loving it in all the different languages? They said me encanta because it is pleasing to me or it delights me. Let's see. So importar is to be important to, interesar to interest, and molestar is to bother. Everyone's favorite. Okay. So here are some examples. Maybe. Technical difficulties. I think my mouse died. Okay, we are lacking money. So first of all, what's your verb? Faltar is your verb, to lack. Okay, what's the subject? What's doing the lacking? Money. Okay, that's a big thing. You have to think of it that way. Find out what's the verb to lack, what's lacking? Money, and who's it lacking from? The us form. So it's the we form. So your indirect object is? Nos. How do we, what's the word for money? Dinero. Is that a singular or plural word? Singular. So how do you make faltar agree with dinero? Okay, nos falta dinero. Excelente. Money is lacking from us. Faltars agree with dinero. Singular. When we do these, I would say when you deal with verbs like gustar, 90% of the time, you are just going to need the a ending or the an ending. Okay, I mean you could say talk to somebody on the phone. It's like, oh, you're lacking from us. We miss you, and you could say nos faltas and make it that way. But most of the time, you're going to just use the a and an endings. So if you start getting in the habit of using the o and the amos ending, double check yourself because most of the time we're just doing the a and an endings. Okay. Another one. The girls are bothered by the boys. All right. What's your verb? Molestar. Who's doing the bothering?
Girls.
The boys. The boys are bothering the girls. I have it worded differently because you have to think about it. The boys are doing the bothering, and who's receiving the bother? The girls. So your indirect object is going to be what? Your indirect object? Lace. Because you're referring to who? The girls. Las chicas. So lace for las chicas. And molestar, we have to think about our subject. Is our subject singular or plural? Its subject is plural, so it's molestan, and then you say los chicos. Okay? A las chicas les molestan los chicos. Now, read it backwards. The boys bother them, meaning the girls. Remember, if you're clarifying who your indirect object is, like the girls, you have to put the a in front of it. So if you're clarifying or emphasizing yourself, do you remember what we said? A mí, sí, a mí me gusta. Okay, or a mí me molestan. They're bothering me. Okay. Okay, and that's what we just talked about. The clarifying is a las chicas. Okay. And that's a mí, and the to form is a ti. That's the other thing, a mí and a ti. Okay, we're going to do actividad 10. I'm going to stop my video. Everyone, let's get this actividad out, and we'll go over the answers in just a bit.